Hello everyone. It has been some time since I've spoken about Indicator here on this YouTube channel, and I feel like it's as good a time as any to talk about some of my favourite films from within the Indicator Blu-ray collection. All of these films were completely unknown to me before I came across Indicator and their great Blu-ray releases. So I'm sure some of you out there have already heard of these and seen these films, but I imagine many people have not, so hopefully I'll give you some new things to check out in the future. Let's begin with Bunny Lake is Missing. This is a suspense thriller with noirish elements about a young girl who goes missing, and we follow her mother as she tries to find out what has happened to her daughter. It's a bit like a murder mystery in that there are so many suspects who could potentially be the criminal behind this, but as the story unravels more and more, we actually begin to doubt the existence of Bunny Lake in the first place. Did this young girl exist, or was she just a figment of this woman's imagination? So there's so much going on in this film, expertly directed by Otto Preminger, and just brilliant performances in this. Carol Lynley is fantastic, you've got Laurence Olivier, and a rare appearance from Noel Coward in an acting role, and he is great. I wish Noel Coward had acted more on film. So there's so many reasons to get this one. I think it's such a great film, so yeah, definitely check out Bunny Lake is Missing. I also have to recommend Modern Romance. What a great film this is. Albert Brooks did so many great films where he acted and he directed and he wrote the films. He was just a man of many talents, and I think Modern Romance is his best film. The story is very simple. There's this couple who are in love, but the man begins to doubt whether they are actually in love at all. It's an excellent romantic comedy, and I greatly implore everyone to check out the works of Albert Brooks. Another gem of a film in the Indicator collection is Time Without Pity. This is from filmmaker Joseph Losey, who over the last few years has become one of my favourite filmmakers. This film follows an alcoholic father whose son is due to be executed for the murder of his girlfriend, and it is up to the father to find some kind of evidence to prove that the son is innocent before it's too late. This is an extremely well-crafted British noir film with a director who knows how to make this kind of film, and an actor in Michael Redgrave just giving one of the best performances of his career. So I strongly recommend this to any noir fans out there. Speaking of great filmmakers, I have William Wyler's The Collector. This is based on the John Fowles novel and starring Terence Stamp in an absolutely chilling performance. It's about this young man who doesn't seem to have much exciting going for him in life, and one of his main pursuits is collecting butterflies. But his attention is turned towards women, and he decides that he is going to kidnap a woman, much like how he captures these butterflies for his collection. The unfortunate victim of this is played by Samantha Eggar, and together these two actors give such great performances in the hands of a director like Wyler, who, he's made so many great films over the decades. By this point, he'd been working for, I think, 4 decades. In the 1960s, Wyler was making some very different films to what he had made before. Very bleak films, off-the-wall filmmaking, like The Collector and like The Children's Hour. So this is one to definitely check out for great performances and some great direction. Next up is 20th Century, the film from Howard Hawks starring John Barrymore and Carole Lombard. I spoke about this not too long ago because this disc was one of my favourites from last year. I think it's a tremendous film, a great screwball comedy, but in particular the restoration on this disc looks amazing. If you've seen some of Howard Hawks' other screwball comedies from the period, like His Girl Friday, which is in the Criterion collection, definitely give this one a chance. Especially for Carole Lombard, who, tragically her life was cut short in her 30s, but she gave us so many great performances in that time, this one included. This next film is truly one that I never hear anyone talking about. It's Winter Kills. People probably don't talk about this one as it is quite indescribable. So if I attempt to describe it here, I probably won't do a good job. The story is about the brother of an assassinated president who is trying to work out who killed his brother decades earlier. It's a real labyrinth of storytelling. It just goes in so many different directions. It's quite wacky at times. It's very satirical, almost playing on the typical political thriller genre. I think the film was a total box office flop, but it has so many great actors in it. It's got Jeff Bridges, John Huston, Anthony Perkins, Toshiro Mifune is in this film as well. It's just so bizarre. You really do have to see this film to get what I mean about this. It's one of those that I'm surprised it doesn't have a massive cult following, a bit like Southland Tales or something like that, where on the surface the film just doesn't work at all, but you just keep thinking about it. There's a lot to come back to in this mess of a film. Lastly, I'll talk about Gardens of Stone. This is from filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola, who everyone knows for the Godfather films and Apocalypse Now. This one is quite a tragic story. The film is about war, but it's war told from the perspective of the people at home. So the people dealing with loss and with grief, and the people who are trying to prevent young men losing their lives in war. It's far from Francis Ford Coppola's best film, but I want to highlight this release for the special features and also the tragic but fascinating story behind it. Francis had cast his son Giancarlo in this film, but during production there had been a tragic accident offset which had led to his son being killed. And obviously this just totally turned Francis's world upside down, but he had to continue the film because, you know, he was struggling financially and this was one of the films he was contracted to make. There's a sort of tragic irony in that the film is about saving the lives of young men, and he in fact lost the life of his son on this film. There is an interview with Francis on the disc talking about what he was going through at the time, and, you know, obviously just a terrible thing to have happened. So the film itself naturally is not that great, and it's lacking passion, because how can you expect him to have put his full passion into this film, a film that he was contracted to make anyway, and I don't think he really wanted to make it save for the money. So yeah, it's heavy stuff, but I want to recommend this particular disc because, again, that context around the film and the history, and I mean, he's one of the best filmmakers of all time, and since the making of this film, many of the other films he's gone on to make have concerned himself with what went on behind the scenes here. So it is a very important film, but a very tragic film in his filmography. That concludes my recommendation video for some films that are hidden gems in the Indicator Blu-ray collection. Please do let me know if any of these stuck out to you in particular, because I would love to hear which of those you're interested in. If you like this kind of video and hearing film recommendations, please do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Until next time, stay well and keep watching great films.